Hey guys, good morning. It's Friday morning, January 3rd, and I'm here with the patient Aneela Maharaj. We are here for Aneela's hip replacement surgery. The girl needed a hip for a while, and she kind of wrote out on her kind of necrotic, expiring hip, and now it's time to get a new one, and so that she can get her full mobility back, and we can travel more, we can enjoy the things that we would like to do, and have a great, fulfilling life.
Yes. New year, new hip. Hi, welcome to my video, and if it's your first time here, then welcome to my channel. My name is Aneela, and I usually post videos about food or travel, so today I'm going to be sharing what my husband ate in a day on the day that I traveled downtown to Sunnybrook's Holland Center where I got my hip replacement. I actually packed breakfast and lunch for surgery day because I wasn't really too sure what the day was going to look like, whether he would have time to leave and get food, and I just like to be prepared. So if you want to jump ahead and see what I packed for breakfast and lunch, I'll put some time markers. You can go ahead and skip to that. Otherwise, this video is going to give you a little look at what surgery day was like for me, as well as what he ate. That night, he actually had mushroom mutter for dinner, and I've already shared that recipe, so I will link it in the cards. Otherwise, let's get right into it. My hip replacement combined with what Pranav ate in a day.
Adios.
I'll be back for you next.
Bye, hon. Time is 8:05. Surgery starts sometime around 8:45.
Pranav's breakfast that morning was a bagel and cream cheese plus some fruit, some fresh berries. I'm using this adorable tiffin that I got during our travels in Thailand to pack his breakfast. Now the bagel I got from Future Bakery in Etobicoke. I discovered this bakery earlier this year. I absolutely love it. The family that runs this bakery is descended from a royal baker in Tsar Nicholas's court back in Russia. Fortunately, the bagel fit right into the tiffin compartment. I actually wasn't sure that it would. These are some of my favorite bagels because they are soft inside, but they have a nice chewy exterior. I also love anything sesame, so a pumpernickel sesame bagel is like my favorite, even though I got this for my husband. The bakery also sells fresh cheeses, and for the first time I bought goat cream cheese. Thought it would be interesting for him to try something new. In hindsight, I would not buy this cheese again. I don't know if it was the brand or whether goat's cream cheese is just like this. I found it to be a little bit bland. Texturally, it was nice, but the flavor was nothing revolutionary. I cracked a bit of black pepper on it and called it a day. I just wrapped up the bagel. I didn't toast it or cut it because I was planning to refrigerate it anyway, and I just didn't want it to get dehydrated. And that takes care of the bottom half of the tiffin. Moving on, I had some really beautiful raspberries, blackberries, and even some leftover pomegranate in the fridge. So that's what I decided to put in the top half of the tiffin. So after giving those berries a thorough wash and adding a bit of pomegranate to it, that pretty much took care of his breakfast.
Time it should finish around was 10:10. That's the expected time when Neela was supposed to come up, and I think that's her as a number, H220D. So any moment she'll be out.
At this point, Pranav had eaten his bagel, probably due more to stress than hunger because my surgery was taking longer than scheduled, but I was actually totally fine.
Looks like she's ready now. Recovery.
Oh, how are you?
Good. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Welcome back with a new hip.
Yeah, I mean,
When I came out of surgery, I was very groggy and extremely chatty. I went under spinal anesthesia, which made me numb from the waist down, but which allowed me to breathe on my own during surgery, so I didn't have to be intubated. And here you can see that my nurse is checking to see if I've regained any sense of feeling in my lower extremities.
Be very careful of that.
Cold. Cold. Yes. Cold.
No, cool. No, not as cold as that.
It took a little longer than expected, but eventually I was able to wiggle my toes, which is the goal when you come off spinal.
Nothing. Can you try wiggling your toes for me?
And once I had settled into my room, Pranav could continue eating his breakfast.
What's this major berry? Then I realized
It's a chunk of pomegranate.
Whoa! Mystical fruit.
What kind of fruit?
I didn't know whether Pranav or my mom would have access to a microwave at the hospital, so I wanted to make something for lunch that could have been enjoyed either hot or cold. I decided on some mini ravioli, which I found at the grocery store, and it's exactly what the package says it is. I didn't even know that mini ravioli existed, but that's what it is. It's teeny tiny ravioli. And you cook it in the same way that you cook regular ravioli, so that's why I put some water to boil. And then I set about collecting some items to dress this thing up. What you're seeing me do here is an example of me making something out of nothing, as I like to call it. It's basically me using kitchen scraps and leftover items to create a dish. Okay, so here you're seeing me make the ravioli. You just cook it up in the same way. When it floats up to the top, the ravioli is done. The raviolis? No, raviolo is singular, so ravioli is plural. Okay. I've got some broccoli, arugula, green onion, tomato. Some of this stuff I'm gonna cook, and then some of it I'm just gonna add it in later. Like the arugula, I know I'm gonna add that almost to the end. Just giving one of the raviolo a little check. Is it raviolo? Now I have my doubts. You know what? My friend Daniela will tell me. I know she will. Okay, so I strained the ravioli and I put those aside, and now I'm gonna just saute up some of the harder vegetables. I also fished out some frozen corn from the freezer. You see exactly what I'm doing here. Like, you know, we've all been in that situation where there's no food, but like you still have to make food. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Of course, seasoning with a bit of salt and pepper. And then while that's cooking down, I'm prepping my tomato. I didn't want my tomato to get too soggy, but I did kind of want it to just kiss the pan a little bit. So I'm going to put that tomato aside for now. It is going to go in while things are still hot, but it's time for me to grab the ravioli and add them to the corn and broccoli. Also going in with the arugula and the olives. My stove is off right now, the element is switched off, but there's still residual heat left in the pan, and that's just gonna help the arugula to wilt a little bit, bring things together. I'm not done seasoning. I still have to add a little bit of olive oil, which is like my favorite oil / condiment. Of course, I have to adjust the salt and pepper as well because I have more ingredients in my pan now. You could add other things into this, like any vegetables that you have in your fridge. And if there are any other spices that you prefer that you want to add in addition or instead of what I added, I'm sure it would work out just as well. Oh, I added some dried chili flakes because, you know, we like chili. This made a really large portion of this, mini ravioli and veggie dish. So I was able to pack lunch both for Pranav and for my mom. This really big container was able to feed both of them. And incidentally, they did have a microwave in the hospital. My floor had a really nice pantry.
7 days a week, the darkest hours.
And not only did this food feed Pranav and my mom for lunch, but it also fed Pranav later in the day. He stayed at the hospital till really late that night. We sent my mom home around 5:30, and he stayed probably till about 8 o'clock just to see that I was doing okay, which I was. I was very loopy for the first day. But the nice thing is that I was actually able to get up and walk on the day of my surgery.
I have already stood up and walked, and today is day 0. which is exciting. I'm also really loopy. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Aneela is doing pretty good with her first tutorial on how to assist herself with some aids. Very soon we'll be discharged, going home. And the recovery has begun, and the patient is getting stronger and normal every day and perkier.
I was really happy to go home the next day. I didn't know if that was going to be possible, but I'm really happy that it was. I just prefer to recover in a familiar environment, I guess.
All right. Freedom. You happy to go home?
Because I walked the same day as my surgery, the next day all I had to do was meet with the occupational and physical therapy teams, and once they gave me some homework exercises and saw that I was able to get on, there was no reason to keep me in the hospital.
Turtle wins this race.
Oh,
So good, right?
Thanks for spending time with us. Hope you liked this one. Don't forget to give our video a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you didn't. And don't forget to subscribe.
All right. I have my precious passenger, my precious cargo inside there.
We're all heading home.
Here we go.
What a
Home
whirlwind.
sweet home. Love you.
Love you.